All right, everyone. Welcome to episode 108 of Sports Hype. Unfortunately, we did have another basketball legend pass away this past week. Actually, yesterday, Jerry West did pass away yesterday morning. He was 86 years old. I mean, there's no words to describe how much he meant to the game of basketball, not only as a player, but as a general manager and a contributor, which is why he'll be the uh, first player and contributor into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame this October. Unfortunately, he won't be here to witness that, but it is well deserved and just he leaves a huge gap in between the basketball world and basketball fans for what everything he did to the game, and especially as a Lakers fan, he he did everything for us. He got us Kobe Bryant, he got us Shaquille O'Neal, he got us countless championships as a player and as a coach. So just rest in peace to him, and thank you for everything that you did for the game, Jerry.
Yeah, the logo himself, although people really don't know, but everyone actually believes that, Jerry West is the silhouette. And I think they did announce a couple of years ago and clarify that he was the silhouette of the NBA. Probably best player of his generation. He won the first Finals MVP. He won a Finals MVP when he lost. He's the only player to ever do that in the Finals. He he went to, I think, 9 finals. I believe he was 1 for 8 or 1 for 8. Yep. And although he was a great player, I think he's going to be remembered more as a GM, right? I think he's one of the greatest basketball minds of the game and to ever live. Jerry West was a rare breed where he believed in winning. He believed winning at all costs, and that winning was the most important thing. They don't make people like Jerry West anymore. I mean, just his tenacity, just his drive, his hunger, um, was second to none. So I mean, it's tough that we lost a great in Bill Russell 2 weeks ago. It's even tougher that we lost Jerry West this week. It's sad that we're seeing all these greats move on. It's just the time, right? We lost Bill Russell. We lost.
You
Uh,
meant Bill Walton, right?
no, Bill Russell last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, 2 years ago, yeah. But you said Russell like the when you met Walton 2 weeks ago too. So I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, Bill. Yeah, I mean Bill Walton 2 weeks ago. Bill Russell last year. I mean, we lost a lot of Mount Rushmore type players in these last couple of years, and it's sad to see. But it's just we got to appreciate the greatness. We got to appreciate them when they're here, especially when they're playing, and that's why it's even greater to understand and appreciate what LeBron's doing to the game, what Michael Jordan did to the game, what Steph Curry's doing to the game, what Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, Kyrie Irving, right? I feel like there's too much hate, there's too much pressure, and I just want to say there's like arrogance involved in it. There's just a lot of things happening to where we're not being grateful, right? In this type of society, to where everyone's pointing fingers, everyone's blaming each other, everyone's comparing each other, to where everyone's different, right? All these players are different in their own right, and we just have to appreciate their greatness and accept that they are the greats for a reason, right? And like I said, just to appreciate it, because you don't know when they're gonna go. Like Jerry West, I mean, he went in his sleep next to his wife, right? They didn't know and find out until that next morning.
Right. And I mean, that's the thing, bro. Like you just never know when not only when your loved ones are going to be gone, but when these players that you look up to will be gone. So just even if you don't like them, at least appreciate what they do for the game, and not only that, but what they do for their teams as well. Like you can't I get it, that you don't like that they beat your team 24/7, but at least appreciate how great that it takes, how hard it is to do that, and how great of a player it takes to do that as well.
Well, yeah, you don't have to like the player, but you have to respect the player, right?
Right.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I hated Kevin Durant for most of his career. He beat
Right.
it. He beat LeBron James game in and game out. Kawhi Leonard beat LeBron James game in and game out, right? And I didn't like them at all. But I respect that Kevin Durant is one of the greatest, if not the greatest scorer of all time, one of the greatest offensive threats of all time. Kawhi Leonard is one of the greatest defensive players of all time, or two-way players of all time. Paul George, again, I I praise him now. When he was a Pacer, I did not like him, right? He was nasty as PG-24, right? I mean, just disgusting with the basketball. Derrick Rose, again, with the Bulls, could not stand because of how great he was. Now I appreciate it. So, you got to learn to appreciate the greatness when they're actually doing it instead of after the fact, to where you're like, wow, I wish we had a prime Derrick Rose again. I wish we had a prime Paul George again. I wish we had an OKC or Golden State Warriors Kevin Durant where he would just kill for a bucket, right? So, I mean, we just have to appreciate greatness. And right now, it's Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic, Jaylen Brown. I appreciate their greatness. Although we're going to talk about this, I'm sure. So let's just keep on moving into the podcast. I love where this conversation is going between Jerry West and the NBA right now. So let's keep it going.
Yes, sir. I just want to say, but before moving on, to your point about him as the general manager, I mean, everyone passed up on Kobe Bryant, and he said, I don't know why everyone passed up on him. He was the greatest talent in the draft, and he was spot on. So I agree with you on that point. He is going to be memorized more as a GM as he was a basketball player because, yeah, he was a great player, but he was an even better GM.
100%. I mean, the amount of championships he won as a general manager, because he understood the pieces that they needed to have to win a championship, what it took to win a championship, right? And the sacrifice. What he told, I think, what was it? The story? Do you know the story where he told Shaq something?
Oh, about Kobe, I think. Is that what you're talking about?
I think it was like the sacrifices you have to make. Yes, you are the best basketball player, but the sacrifices you have to make as a leader in order to win a championship, that's what you need to understand, or something like that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he was a great basketball mind, great player. It's just sad we lost him, and rest in peace to him. But prayers up to his family and loved ones.
Right.
And I know Kobe's opening him up with open arms in heaven as well.
For sure.
But getting to the podcast, as Gio said, not much to get into. It's kind of a dead period in sports right now. But there was a few big talk points we have to go through. One that happened about an hour ago. Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars agreed on a 5-year, $275 million extension. He gets $200 million guaranteed with $142 million at the signing. This contract ties him with Joe Burrow as the highest paid quarterback on a per year basis at $55 million. So we'll give our thoughts on that contract and what we think about Trevor Lawrence and if he deserved that type of money. Gio's pretty happy about this one. Steelers and Mike Tomlin agreed on a new 3-year extension. There was rumors that he might end up leaving, but clearly those rumors were put to bed with this contract extension. So we'll give our thoughts on that. And then, unfortunately, due to medical history, Darren Waller did decide to retire. So we'll give our thoughts on his short-lived career. Definitely could have had more in the tank, but as I said, too many injuries, so unfortunate for him. And then to get to the NBA, Dan Hurley declined the Lakers' 6-year, $70 million offer to become the franchise's next head coach. So we'll go over what's next for the Lakers as they continue their head coach search. And then to wrap it up, we'll touch on the Bucks hiring former Lakers head coach Darvin Ham as a top assistant for Doc Rivers and give our thoughts on that. So starting with Trevor Lawrence and that major extension, what's your thoughts on that, Gio?
Yeah, he right off the bat, good for him. He's not the best quarterback in the league. Nowhere near Joe Burrow standards. If Minshew had better stats, which he did, he had better stats in Jacksonville than Trevor Lawrence does right now. In the same time period, why does he deserve this much money? I mean, he hasn't won anything. Yeah, it's good to guarantee him for the next, whatever amount of years. What is it, 5 years or something like that? it's necessary to do it that, but honestly, he's not worth that money. I can't believe that they gave him that much. And then like you said, I feel like uh for that, what was it? You said $55 million?
Yeah, 55 million per year basis.
The cap space, that's a problem. You're gonna have to restructure this deal later on so that you can have the weapons, the talent on the roster in order to win a Super Bowl where Patrick Mahomes restructured his deal so that it was friendly for more pieces to come in so they can win a Super Bowl. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is that type of player where he wants to win. If he's getting that contract, yeah, he deserves the bag. But do you value winning or the bag more? And I think he values the bag right now.
Yeah, I agree. So the top 6 quarterbacks on a per year basis, as I said, Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow tied at 1 for 55 million. Then Jared Goff at 53 million, Justin Herbert at 52.5 million, Lamar Jackson at 52 million, and Jalen Hurts at 51 million. There's an
Yeah,
argument that all 5 of those are better than Trevor Lawrence.
100%.
So I agree
There's
with you.
no, it's a guarantee,
I don't think there's an
right?
argument. It's
Right?
all 5 of them. Maybe the one he might be
No, don't
slightly
say
better
it.
than is Justin Herbert.
Oh, okay, thank you. Because I was
But
gonna say Jared Goff, he just went
no,
to the NFC Championship
I
game.
was going to say maybe Justin Herbert because you look at their careers,
Yeah,
they both haven't succeeded much.
right. I can see that comparison. But even then, Justin Herbert has a better arm. He has better IQ than him, right? And I feel like Trevor Lawrence hasn't had that much success, and he has better weapons.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I saw this contract. I was like, yeah, you do want to resign your starting quarterback, franchise quarterback, sure. This to me is the increasing quarterback market.
Yeah.
And that is why they decided to pay him this much because he was going to walk unless they gave him this much money. And the same situation is going to happen with the other quarterbacks, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, etc. The longer these teams wait, the higher the price will go up. For example,
Yeah.
with this contract extension, Dak's going to be like, I'm better than Trevor Lawrence. Give me 60 million on per year basis. And Jerry Jones is going to have he's either going to have to let him walk or have to pay him that money. So the longer you wait, the more you're going to have to pay your quarterback. And I think that's what happened with Jacksonville.
Right.
But yes, he is not worth this money. I mean, he had insanely good weapons last year, and I think they went 10-7 and got bounced in the first round. I mean, he hasn't stayed healthy either for a majority of his career.
Mhm.
Maybe they think he's the quarterback to lead them to the Super Bowl, but for me personally, I don't think he's a Super Bowl quarterback or Super Bowl caliber quarterback.
No, not at all. When you when you think of Super Bowl caliber quarterbacks, you think of Joe Burrow, you think of a Josh Allen, you think of a Patrick Mahomes, Dak
Jalen
Prescott, I
Hurts,
would say, Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, Matt Stafford, Russell Wilson. Um, who else is there? I mean, Kirk Cousins, for crying out loud, is better than Trevor Lawrence. So, and I think we're going to see a couple rookies outperform Trevor. I mean, C.J. Stroud, for crying out loud, last year. C.J.
yeah,
Stroud.
yeah,
You're gonna see guys like Drake May. You're gonna see guys like Bryce Young this year. Even I think Bryce Young is gonna have a better year than Trevor Lawrence. That's a hot take, but
it
I think
is.
it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I don't know if Bryce Young will be better than him, but yeah, I do agree. Some rookies coming in will be up there with him or better than him,
Right.
100%. I mean, he's not what the Jaguars make him out to be, in my opinion.
No, and then you also have to think about health. This kid has been getting hurt every year he's played.
Right. And I mean, the more it's like Josh Allen. The more he continues to run, the more he will continue to get
Right.
hurt. And
Right.
unless he changes his game, he's not gonna be healthy when it matters.
Yeah. 100%.
So I think it's an overpay, but as I said, obviously the quarterback market has to do with that, and they wanted to keep their franchise quarterback. We'll see if it works out to their advantage. But moving on to the Steelers and Mike Tomlin agreeing on a new 3-year contract extension. I don't think the terms came out, if I'm correct on that. But what are your thoughts on him signing an extension?
I mean, I've seen him from both ways to where everyone's where people are excited about this extension to where people hate it, right? One, I'm thrilled. I don't know who's a better quarterback or better, a better coach than Mike Tomlin right now. Yeah, you can say a couple, but realistically, I can't see anyone. He hasn't had a
I mean,
losing season in his tenure with the
if you look at
Steelers.
the rosters he had the past 2 years, and he still
Right,
had 9 wins in those
right.
years.
He hasn't had a losing season in his tenure with the Steelers from 2007 to 2024. Hasn't lost. Has a losing season. Won 2 Super Bowls, I believe. Right, 2.
Hmm. I think
Won,
so. One with
won two.
big one with Big Ben. I remember.
I know he won 2008. Did he win one? No, I think that was Cowher still
Yeah,
um as the coach, and then he's went to 2 Super Bowls. That's what I know.
yeah.
Um, went to multiple AFC Championship games. Mike Tomlin is the best coach in football right now, in my opinion. To extend him, that's the best thing we could have done. I think the people are on crack who think this is a bad move because find me a better coach, find me a better coach, and then we'll talk. But you can't. So
Yeah,
you're on crack if you think this is a bad extension.
yeah, I agree with that. I'm not even a Steelers fan, and I was like, well, that was a no-brainer. I mean, it's Mike Tomlin. It's Mike Tomlin. So like, he had Kenny Pickett at quarterback with very little weapons, got 9 wins in back-to-back years. Like, what else do Steelers fans want? Yeah, you can make you want to make the playoffs. Kind of hard to do that when you have Kenny Pickett back there at quarterback. No shade at Kenny, but he did not turn out the way I expected him to be, and
Yeah,
how Steelers expect him to be, obviously. So yeah, if he doesn't win this year, then you can go ahead and throw shade at Mike Tomlin. But throwing shade at Mike Tomlin for the past few years solely because he didn't make the playoffs with mediocre rosters, tell me a coach that can come in and win more than 9 games than
with that
other than Mike
roster,
Tomlin. Other than Mike Tomlin, you can't.
you can't. And again, you had Matt Canada as the offensive coordinator.
Blame it is Matt Canada. Let's be honest.
Right. You had a lot of troubled young men at the wide receiver position. I'm not going to name any names,
Well, I will.
but we
George Pitt.
know. Yeah, yeah, and we had a lot of troubled guys coming in, creating nonsense for the Steelers organization. So for Mike Tomlin to get a winning season in all his in those years, kudos to him. Kudos to the organization to making this happen, getting this extension. Good job, Amar Khan and the Steelers front office, because this was a necessary move to have us winning in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if any coach can get George Pickens and those guys in line, it's Mike Tomlin. So you got to extend him and let him build a foundation with the new roster that you built. Credit to Omar Khan for continuing to build a great roster for the Steelers and keeping the coach. And hopefully it turns into a lot more wins this year for my buddy
Yeah,
Gio
yeah. Thanks.
and his mental health, because I
My
see it
mental
firsthand, guys.
My mental health is fine. As you can see, I'm doing okay. We got rid of Kenny Pickett. I am happy we're here.
Yeah, but if you go back in the other episodes, I saw your mental health, man. It was deteriorating with Kenny Pickett back there at quarterback.
Because y'all had faith in him. I thought y'all were insane.
You just gotta believe, man. The belief didn't go anywhere, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, at least you got a quarterback that has, regular sized hands. We got Kenny Pickett who had small hands.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we'll see what Russell Wilson and Justin Fields can do. It's going to be a fun year for you guys, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
But moving on to a little sadder topic. As I said, Darren Waller did have to end up retiring, I believe, at 31 years old due to too many injuries. So, what's your thoughts on his career?
Yeah, sad to see. Didn't, pan out. Didn't reach his full potential, in my opinion. He has to do what he has to do, for himself, for his family, for his body. But very unfortunate, sad to see. Good luck for him and his future endeavors.
Yeah, I agree. Very unfortunate that he had to retire. He still was a great tight end, though. I mean, I think he had back-to-back with 1,000-yard seasons. He's the first one to do that since Rob Gronkowski and Travis Kelce. Those are the only three that has ever done that. So still in great company, even though he wasn't able to play for a lot of years. It's just unfortunate that his body fell apart too soon. But as Gio said, good luck on his future endeavors, and hopefully he continues to be in football somehow, some way.
Sure.
But moving on to the NBA, as we spoke about last week, Dan Hurley was offered the Lakers job. The rumor was 8 years, $100 million, but Jeannie Buss decided to only offer him 6 years of $70 million, and Dan Hurley decided to decline that. He did go on the Dan Le Batard show today and said that there was a range of money that could have enticed him to leave UConn, and that just shows me how incompetent the Lakers front office is, and makes me a little bit more mad that they're incompetent, and shows me that we aren't going to go anywhere as long as we have Rob Pelinka as GM and Jeannie Buss as owner. So I've given up on that, but we'll talk about what is next for the Lakers. Obviously, JJ Redick was announced today that he is formally interviewing for the Lakers job this weekend with Rob Pelinka. He had about a 90-minute sit-down, according to Woj, about 2 weeks ago, I think, just to get to know each other. But this one is actually a formal interview, and if all goes well, he will push himself to the forefront of the search and probably the favorite. So what do you think is next for the Lakers after their failed attempt at Dan Hurley?
I think you said it first. You got to explode that front office. And I mean in a metaphorical,
Right.
Fool me once, shame on you with that DeMar DeRozan, not sign. Oh, let's say first, right? First,
No.
Getting rid of Alex Russo, getting rid of JaVale McGee, getting rid of Dwight Howard, getting rid of that whole championship squad.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then number two.
That's shame on. That's
it's
number
not
one.
It's not even DeRozan. It's Kawhi first and foremost. He spurned us just like Dan Hurley did. For that.
But still, it's the front office. Shame on me.
Yeah,
shame on
that's
you.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Number one, shame on me getting rid of that championship team. Shame on you for not signing DeRozan right when you had the chance,
or Kawhi,
and getting Russell Westbrook, which was a terrible idea.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
That's number two. Number three is this head coaching decision.
I mean, to me, I've said this before, even before this whole head coaching stuff happened. I said, Rob Pelinka has had 2 back-to-back terrible off seasons. Like, on paper, the roster looked good. When it got to the court, terrible. This is his make or break. 3rd time's a charm. If you don't make a roster that's winnable this year and don't make a good head coaching decision, she's going to have no choice, in my opinion, but to let you go. Or she's not serious about winning, and she'll show the fans that by keeping you.
100%. I mean, JJ Redick, he's probably your best bet to win. He's a great basketball, person. I think he's great offensively. We got to see defensively his schemes.
I mean, I said this prior to the Dan Hurley report coming out. Yes, he's a high risk, high reward, but if you look at the coaching options available, he's the best option.
Right. And so, I mean, you got to get the signing done quickly.
100%.
Another thing, I'm a loss for words right now for the Los Angeles Lakers, because what else can you provide other than the location you're in, the amount of capital, LeBron James and Anthony Davis? What else can replace a coach?
In my opinion, what I saw from Dan Hurley's offer, take the capital out of it. Jeannie Buss is cheap. She's not going to give you money.
Yeah, sorry. What's up with you and your teams, man? Why are your owners so cheap?
Bro, that's what I was getting into. Like, I started thinking about that after I saw 6 years, $70 million. I was like, so why? It's because the Cowboys obviously are the richest franchise in the entire NFL. I think they're at $4 billion. Jerry Jones won't even pay a running back $20 million. And then the Lakers are by far the highest bidded NBA team, and she can't even pay a coach more than a college team was willing to pay you? Really? So why?
But look at this.
Why are the
she didn't want to pay Alex Caruso. She didn't want to pay KCP. She didn't want to pay DeRozan. What's up with this?
It's not only the Lakers and Cowboys. Like, if you look at sports history in general, the richest teams are always the cheapest. What are you going to do with the money? Why are you so cheap?
You know who's not? The Yankees. And look what
Yeah,
they do. They win.
right. I mean, they haven't in years, but
But still,
at
they
least
pay their players. They
they still
pay.
try to make world champion rosters at least.
Right.
And like, to me, Jeannie Buss might be worse than Jerry Jones, and that's saying a lot because you go back and see my rant at the end of the season, you'll see I'm done with Jerry Jones too. But I've had it with Jeannie Buss too. Until both of these owners sell the teams, I'm giving up hope at this point because like there's no way we're ever going to win again with both of them at the helm.
Right.
And like, so you can't pay Alex Caruso. I think the Bulls pay him $20 million, 2 years, $20 million. You really can't pay him that much based off what he did for us in 2020. KCP, he got 1 year, $10 million from the Nuggets. You couldn't pay him that much, really? What are you going to do with this money? Honestly, I don't understand it.
Sitting in my back pocket, she says. It's just sitting there. Put in the hole.
Then on top of letting those guys go, you use the money that you let them go for Russell Westbrook. Like, what? Where's the logic?
Yeah. There isn't any. That's the thing. That's why we can't come up with a conclusion of why they make the decisions they do.
No, and that's why I'm like sitting here and I'm like, the Lakers do need to have a good free agency, but in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, we're just gonna sign some veteran minimums and be like, oh, we got LeBron and AD, we can win. No, that's not how it works anymore. But I just don't. It's frustrating to say the least. But I get it. 8 years, $100 million. That was a little too much, as we said in the previous podcast. But I think Kentucky offered him 70 million, 60, 70 million, the same thing the Lakers offered him. And he declined that. So what makes you think he's going to leave UConn for the Lakers after he declines a school like Kentucky for that same amount of money in years? Like, what makes you think that?
I can't tell you. I mean, there is no answer to your question other than the fact that maybe there's more to it than money to him. Maybe he just wanted to stay in UConn the entire time, and it was just nonsense, right? I
Well,
told
to
you.
me, I mean, there are rumors that he did use it as leverage for a UConn extension, but then he came out today and said he shot those down. Be like, I don't need leverage. I've won back-to-back championships, and I was like, okay, that's true. You don't need leverage. So that's a false narrative. I just think he knew all along. He was just playing along with the game, like Kawhi Leonard did in 2020. He was playing along with them, and he was like, all
see
right,
how
I'll
much
hear
he
you.
could get. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, all right, I'll hear you guys out.
Right.
Then he sees 6 years, 70 million. He's like, UConn.
100%. I think his mind was made up before this. Like I said before, I mean, he was going to stay with UConn no matter what. He won, said, back to championships. He wants to do what Wooden did with UCLA. He wants to get a three-peat, and there's nothing else that can change his mind. But he's like, oh, if you're going to give me like the bag, let's see how much I can actually get from the Los Angeles Lakers.
Right. I mean, if it was an unrealistic bag, then okay, you move on. But at least you save yourself face by at least offering him more money instead of lowballing him and him going on a show and being like, yeah, they could have offered me more and I would have left. You just made yourself look terrible.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they are. They are the joke of the NBA right now. I don't think anyone cares about the Pistons. They would be the joke, but the Los Angeles Lakers took their place.
100%. I mean, I've said this year after year after year. In LA, it's championship or bust. I don't think that goes through Jeannie Buss's and Rob Pelinka's head. They're like, oh, we just got to get to the playoffs. No, you have to get to the finals, actually. It's not playoffs. It's championship or bust. That's it.
Yep.
And like that's why Magic Johnson, I think that's why he left. He was like, you guys don't care about winning. I'm gonna go win somewhere else. Which I mean, obviously he hasn't had the chance yet, but if he gets the chance, I think he would take it.
Maybe.
And it's just It's very unfortunate what the Lakers ended up doing. What? Go ahead.
I said, thank goodness LeBron can leave.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to. I think I'm not going to be mad if he does because this front office is terrible, and he needs, in my opinion, I'm not even a LeBron fan, but as a Lakers fan, I'm like, yeah, bro. I mean, if you want to win one more, it's not happening here. Go somewhere else. But I think,
Yeah, right.
based off what he said and what I've heard him say, obviously you said in previous podcasts, like, yeah, he said this before and then left.
Mm-hmm.
But like just his demeanor in LA, I feel like personally, I just don't see him leaving his best friend Anthony Davis. I feel like that's the tipping point for him.
He left. He left Dwayne Wade. Let's
That,
all remember that.
but like, I don't think him and D Wade had the chemistry that him and AD do. Personally,
Really?
like I feel like on the court they looked very happy and playing together, but like off the court, I don't think they were friends personally. Because like 2010 LeBron, let's be honest, he was a little arrogant.
You're telling me the Banana Boat Boys don't have chemistry?
On the court, yeah.
No,
But,
no, but in real life.
I mean, like, I feel like it's like a Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen type of situation. Like on the court, they love each other, but off the court, they're like, get out of my room. I don't know. I feel like because I always hear stories about how LeBron, loves AD and how he they're always talking stuff, but like I very rarely hear LeBron talk about Dwayne Wade.
I think it's more of a father-son. I think Anthony Davis looked up to LeBron his entire life. That's why he wore the number 23, not because of Michael Jordan, but because of LeBron James. So in that respect, I agree. I think their relationship is different. I think Anthony Davis looks up to LeBron, but I think LeBron James and Dwayne Wade are brothers. I think it's like you look at it and they have a good rivalry going on between them as a competition, but at the end of the day, they're brothers, just like Carmelo, just like Chris Paul. Those four guys will forever be known as the Banana Boat Boys, and they're the greatest to do it in their respective positions.
Yeah, I could see that. I think LeBron is at the point of his career where it's like I just want to play to the point where I, can keep playing. And I don't think yeah, obviously he cares about winning championships, but like I don't think he cares as much as he did, say in 2010 when he was like in the prime of his career. So I feel like he'll be more content. He'd be more content like staying in LA now at the point he is in his career than he would be like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, because there's nothing else he has to prove.
Right. So I mean, I feel like he's going. I feel like he. What's up?
He believes he is the best player to ever live. Like there is nothing else he has to do for himself to prove that to himself.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's obviously Gio doesn't agree, but it's arguable, and I think he is. But if he wants to continue to win, it's not going to happen in LA, and I think that's why he's sitting back and watching and telling them, you guys make the decisions without me this year. I want to see what you guys do. And then if he doesn't agree, I won't be surprised if he spurns them and goes to, say, Philly or whoever drafts Bronny and be like, yeah, I'm going to go play with my son. Y'all did not make this a winning team. I'm out.
Yeah, I think that's why he's doing it. It's like, these aren't my moves. These are your moves. Congratulations. You lost me.
Right. Exactly. And I won't, as I said, I won't blame him. I mean, as a Lakers fan, I've had it up to here with the front office too. I can't imagine how a player of his caliber who wants to win every year must feel.
Right.
I mean, he's been there, 5 years and signed one extension already. One successful year, and that's 2020. I mean, you want more than that.
I think he went to the finals 6 times with the Cavs, 4 times with the Heat. How many times with the Lakers?
That's right.
One. That's right. Out of 5 years.
Yeah. And that just shows you once again, The front office is the issue.
Mhm.
But as you said, JJ. Just before moving on, JJ's what next for the Lakers in your opinion?
Yeah, easy. Who else could take that step? I don't see anyone taking that
I
step.
mean, the only other rumor there was going around was James Borrego. But me personally, I'd rather have JJ.
Right.
But I mean, Borrego is also a favorite for the Cavaliers job. So if he gets that job, then obviously it's going to be JJ's job to lose.
Can we get Mark Jackson as a coach again?
I've been thinking about that, but I feel like he's telling teams that he doesn't want to coach, because if he did want to coach, I feel like he would have already got the call by now.
Yes and no. He could have, but at this end of the day, if you make the right pitch, he's going to pick up the phone.
I mean, he won't necessarily take the job, but he'll at least hear you out.
Right, and that's all you need to do. And if Mark Jackson hears you out and he likes what you're saying, he'll take that deal.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's a very underrated coach. They think, he did all that because of the talent on the Warriors. It's not that easy. You got to coach the players.
He built that team. He
I
was
mean,
there with he believed. He created the Warriors team that won the championships.
Yeah, I mean, you literally have to coach the players, and players of that star caliber are 10 times harder to coach too.
Right.
So like, he's a great coach, and I obviously with no more ESPN, it's a great option. I don't know why teams haven't been thinking about him, unless, like I said, he's the one being like, "Nah, I'm done coaching. I'm just gonna sit back and relax."
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens, or if he gets a call in years to come.
Yep.
But to wrap up, obviously, as I said, former Lakers head coach Darvin Ham did get back as the Bucks as a top assistant under Doc Rivers. I'm not sure about this pairing, but what's your thoughts, Gio?
I like it. I mean, I think this is the exact move. You have to humble yourself. You have to take the job that's necessary, and I think Darvin Ham's doing that. He was a head coach. He tried it. Now he's got to get back to what works, and I think this one will help them defensively. Two, I think this helps relieve some pressure off of Doc Rivers and onto Darvin Ham. I think that coaching staff is great. I mean, we'll see what happens. I think they're gonna have a bounce back year next year. I think they're gonna add more depth, and I think that Giannis Antetokounmpo is gonna stay healthy. Dame's gonna have a better season, and we're gonna see a different Milwaukee Bucks team.
Yeah, I really do hope, though, because I did want the Bucks succeed, and I want to see Dame, at least win one ring. He's good. He was loyal enough to Portland to stay for as long as he did. I want to see him succeed at least 1 year. Hopefully, this upcoming year will be the year. But for me, it's Darvin Ham. Like, after what I saw, how he does as a head coach, I don't know if he'll be any different as an assistant coach, because all he did as a head coach was stand there and pretty much view the game as a fan, as Gio likes to say. So, like, how does he help Doc Rivers if that's what he's doing?
One, he doesn't have to be vocal anymore. Two, he can have game plans. He can create sets within the game for Doc Rivers to have, right? I think if Doc Rivers doesn't understand or doesn't know what to do, he can lean on to Darvin Ham, and Darvin Ham can make that one or two play adjustment or make that second half adjustment to where it can help benefit the team rather than Doc Rivers making all the decisions.
Yeah, but once again, as we saw in LA, terrible decision maker, doesn't draw up plays, and doesn't make adjustments, and also doesn't know how to run defense.
That's him as a head coach, to where he had to do everything. I don't think, one, as a head coach, he listened to anybody, and two, lowering himself to an assistant coach relieves a lot of pressure off of himself. And I think that can go a long way to where he can benefit a team once again, instead of having all the pressure, especially in an LA scenario, and feeding off of all the fans hate, the fans take, and the media and as a whole.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that did get to him, and the pressure definitely got to him, as you as we saw, like in his press conferences specifically, they'd ask him about, why they keep losing, and he'd be like, "It's one game at a time. It's one game at a time." It's like, no, it's not one game at a time. Like, it's not like, and then he'd get more mad as the season went on. So I think the pressure definitely got to him, and I think assistant coach is where he should be. He should, in my opinion, never get a head coaching gig again after what he did with the Lakers. I don't like what I saw, obviously, but even if I wasn't a fan of the Lakers and I was a GM, I wouldn't like what I saw either. So like I don't think head coaching is for him, but as an assistant coach, I think he is very helpful, and that's why he ended up getting the Lakers job, was because of how he helped lead not only the Bucks but also Giannis Antetokounmpo to their first championship.
Right.
So hopefully it works out for them, and hopefully they end up with a second championship for Giannis and the first one for Dame.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, I do have to say this. I've been seeing a lot of people say letting go of Darvin Ham was a big mistake for the Lakers because of, the lack of coaching options available and lack of people who want the job. I just have to say this. Go back and watch some Lakers games, and you'll see why we let him go. That's all I'm going to say. No shade at Darvin Ham. It's just he's not the coach for the job, for the Lakers specifically, the Lakers job specifically.
Yeah.
So I've just been surprised at how many people liked what they saw from Darvin Ham in LA. Because I watched every game, as I said, for the past 2 years, and sure, he coached decently here and there, but majority of what I saw, not a fan. But you got any takes on that before we wrap up, Gio?
Yeah. Anyone's better than him. Anyone.
Yeah. And that's why, I get it. JJ hasn't had coaching experience.
Yes,
but
he has.
My thinking is, well, he's a better offensive mind than Darvin Ham, and anyone's better than Ham no matter what.
They're looking at a coach that has coached young children.
Yeah, but that's not the same as the NBA, though.
That is how bad Darvin Ham was. They are looking at a coach that has coached an AAU team.
Yeah, that is very true. I mean, as I said, that's all you need to do. Because I don't believe the people saying this, Lou Will, Stephen A., etc., watched many, if any, Lakers games. And the ones they did, Darvin Ham probably coached mediocre and they won the game. But if you really watch the game, first of all, he's not even coaching. It's Anthony Davis and LeBron James that are coaching, and that's why they won. And second of all, he's just a terrible coach. I mean, as you said, anyone's better than him. No shade to him. Good luck in the future. You just weren't the man for the job. But just go back and watch the games before you speak, because you're making yourselves look a fool on national television. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
But what's going on in the sneaker world over there, Gio?
Yeah. I just wanted to switch it up this week.
Okay.
2 things real quick. Congratulations to Mike Hopkins getting that assistant coaching job.
Yes.
Old Syracuse assistant, going over to the Phoenix Suns with Mike Budenholzer. That's one thing. Congratulations to him. 2, I got to say it. Tom Brady got inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame. What an amazing speech. What an amazing night for him and for his teammates. Just the appreciation that they had, the gratitude everyone had towards him. And it really shows what a great leader, what a great football player Tom Brady really is, and why he's the GOAT of the National Football League.
Yeah, definitely. Congrats to Tom Brady, not only on getting enshrined into the Hall of Fame for the Patriots, but also getting his number retired by the Patriots as well. So congrats to that. Well-deserved. And there should never be a number 12 again, not only in the Patriots, but in my opinion, the entire NFL. There's only one number 12, and that is Tom Brady.
That's right.
It's just that simple. And yes, congrats to Mike Hopkins as well. Very happy he got not only an assistant job, but an NBA assistant job. So hopefully he does well with the Phoenix Suns and gets them a few more wins this upcoming year. And then in the video game world, the Madden 25 cover was announced. They finally made it a non-quarterback in Christian McCaffrey. Well-deserved, long overdue in my opinion. Has been the best running back in the league for a long time. and hopefully he can break the Madden curse. But the release date for the game is to be determined. And then before wrapping up, I would like to say that next week we will not be having an episode as I will be out of town visiting my buddy Gio in Syracuse and celebrating my sister's wedding. So we won't see you next week, but we will see you guys the week after that. And thank you for watching. See you on the next one.
Yeah. We might have an episode next week. If you want to see, some basketball content, go ahead and give us that, thumbs up button. Go find Nick Say in the comment section. We can't find him, so I'm sure he's down there somewhere. And then, like two wise men once said this week, subscribe. We'll see you all on the next one. Peace.
Peace.